My name's Major Reed Harlan, U.S. Army Armor Officer. I've spent the better part of my adult life sitting in steel monsters that weigh 68 tons and spit fire at 2 miles out. The Abrams isn't just a machine, it's a philosophy. You move slow, hit hard, and when you roll onto the field, no one forgets you were there. That mindset, it bleeds into everything I do. Discipline, patience, precision. At 34, I had what most guys dream about when they're stuck in the barracks during their 20s, wondering if the Army will ever give back what it takes. A career I was proud of, a house just off post near Fort Cavazos in Texas, a bank account that finally felt secure, and a fiancée, Serenity Miranda. On paper, I had balance, career, stability, a woman to come home to. Serenity wasn't military. She worked in PR, the kind of job where networking meant endless parties and photo ops. She carried herself like every room was an audition, every smile a performance. And I won't lie, at first I liked that about her. It was a contrast to the mud, grease, and dust I lived in. She could glide through a gala the way I maneuvered a tank column. We looked good together. That mattered more to her than to me, but I didn't mind letting her shine. We'd been engaged 8 months. The wedding was 6 weeks out. Venue booked, tux measured. Serenity already had half of the Miranda family working overtime to make it some spectacle they could brag about to their friends. I was footing the bill, but that didn't bother me then. I thought it was an investment in forever. What I didn't know was that forever had an expiration date I wasn't invited to. It was a Tuesday night. Nothing special, grilled chicken, green beans, a beer cracked open after PT. Serenity sat across from me at the table, scrolling her phone more than she was cutting into the food. "Reed," she said finally, setting the phone down like she was about to brief a general. Her eyes were glassy, and her fingers tapped the table nervously. "I need to talk to you about something personal. You know that phrase, 'we need to talk'? I've been in firefights that started with less warning." I leaned back, kept my voice calm. "Go ahead." She twisted the ring on her finger, the one I'd saved 6 months of deployment pay for, and sighed. "I love you. You're stable, dependable, the kind of man I always wanted. But before we get married, I need to make sure there aren't any ghosts in my head." I raised an eyebrow. "Ghosts?" She nodded, chewing her lip. "Evan reached out. From before you and me. It stirred things up, and I realized I never really ended things with him the right way. No real closure. I thought I had, but... And here it came, the part that made my stomach twist. I think I need to see him one last time. Just a night. After that, I'll know for certain you're the one. Then I can marry you with no doubts." She said it like she was asking permission to borrow my car. Like throwing away loyalty and trust was just another errand on her to-do list before walking down the aisle. My fork clinked against the plate. For a second, I wondered if she could hear the blood pounding in my ears. But I didn't raise my voice. Didn't slam the table. Didn't call her out. Years of training had taught me to stay calm under fire, and this was a new kind of battlefield. So I gave her a slow nod. "If that's what you need, Serenity, then you should go get your closure." Her whole face lit up, like I'd just handed her a promotion. "Really? You understand?" "Of course," I said evenly, sipping my beer. But inside, I wasn't thinking about closure. I was thinking about payback. That night, after Serenity went to bed humming like she just secured world peace, I sat in the living room staring at the empty beer bottle in my hand. I'd been in the Army long enough to know that when someone says just one last time, it's never the last time. It's the start of a pattern. And I wasn't about to be the idiot funding her nostalgia tour. I grabbed my phone and sent a text. "Me you up?" "Brooks, sir, it's 2300. Me you up or not?" "Brooks, yeah. What's going on?" Staff Sergeant Kellen Brooks wasn't just one of my NCOs. He was the kind of soldier who could find your blood type and your ex-girlfriend's new zip code if you gave him 10 minutes and a half-decent Wi-Fi connection. In the Army, that's called initiative. Off-duty, it's called having the right friend. "Need you to dig," I told him. Her phone, her socials, the works. "Serenity?" he asked, already knowing the answer. "Yeah. Roger that. Give me an hour." And that's how I found out my fiancée's closure wasn't a sudden burst of honesty. It was a cover story for something that had been going on for almost a year. Brooks had screenshots waiting for me by 0030. Messages between Serenity and Evan Strickland. Evan, the failed country singer turned contractor for hire. A guy who never made it past dive bars and small-town county fairs, now hanging around posts trying to feel important again. The texts were everything I needed to know. "Serenity, Reed is fine. Stable. But you're the one who makes me feel alive." "Evan, then why marry him?" Serenity, because he's my safety net. My future. You're my fun. Safety net. Fun. Future. I kept scrolling, jaw tight, stomach turning. She wasn't planning a wedding. She was securing a retirement plan. There were photos too. Selfies in hotel rooms I'd never been in. Her in dresses I'd never seen her wear. Receipts charged to my card for champagne and imported coffee. The same beans I'd noticed disappearing faster than I was drinking them. And the best one? A screenshot she'd sent Evan of my bank account balance. Caption: he has no idea how easy he is to manipulate. I sat there in the glow of the laptop screen, the weight of it all pressing down. Tanks I could handle. Artillery? No problem. Betrayal in your own house? That hits different. For a long time I didn't move. Just sat there staring at the evidence. Then finally I leaned back, exhaled slow, and whispered to myself, "All right, Serenity. You want closure? I'll give you closure. But it's not going to end the way you think. The army taught me a lot of things, but the most useful lesson? Never go into a fight without a plan. You don't just charge a hill because you're angry. You map the terrain, you identify the enemy's weaknesses, and you prepare your logistics. Betrayal's no different." By sunrise the next morning, I already had a legal pad spread across the kitchen table, scribbled with arrows and notes like a battle map. Not should I leave her? Not do I confront her? No, that was civilian thinking. What I wrote across the top in block letters was, Operation Retirement Party. First move, secure the perimeter. I called my attorney, a woman meaner than any drill sergeant I ever had. I didn't even finish explaining before she cut me off. Infidelity clause in the engagement paperwork. You're fine, Reed. She walks out with nothing but her makeup bag. Music to my ears. Second move, protect assets. One quick call to my financial advisor and every dime I had in liquid assets started moving into places Serenity couldn't touch even if she sprouted wings and flew into my bank. LLCs, trusts, accounts that required signatures she didn't have. Third move, control the narrative. This one was Brooke's specialty. He wasn't just good at digging, he was a wizard at exposure. "Sir, you want her whole world to see her for what she is?" he asked over coffee in the motor pool later that day. "Exactly," I said. "Then give me 48 hours. Fourth move, psychological warfare. Serenity thought she was about to pull off a grand act of maturity, one last nostalgic roll in the sheets with Evan to make sure. No, I was going to make her believe I approved. I wanted her walking straight into my trap thinking she'd won. The beauty of it all? She was already writing the script for me. She thought she was clever, thought she was running a side op I couldn't detect. But she forgot the first rule of deception. You only win if the other guy doesn't know he's been targeted. And me? I'd been watching the whole board. So when Serenity came home that evening all smiles and humming about bridal fittings and floral arrangements, I smiled right back. Kissed her on the cheek. Asked about her day. Acted like nothing was wrong. Meanwhile, in my head, I was already moving tanks into position. By Friday, Serenity had her closure weekend mapped out like it was a spa retreat. She picked out a new red dress, one I hadn't seen before, tag still dangling. Charged to my card, of course. She paraded through the hallway, holding it against herself in the mirror like she was practicing for some damn movie scene. "This is silly," she said, twirling. "I just want to feel confident when I see him, you know?" I smiled, leaned in the doorway, arms crossed. "Yeah, silly. Real confident." What she didn't know was that while she was planning her night of nostalgia, I was planning her public execution. Not the kind with bullets and smoke, but the kind where a reputation is dismantled in front of everyone she ever tried to impress. Step 1, Evans Hotel. I'd found the booking confirmation on Serenity's email. Cheap motel, same dive they'd used before. Romantic, right? I called the front desk pretending to be Evan Strickland. "I need to upgrade my reservation. Penthouse suite. Charge it to the card on file." The clerk was happy to oblige. And since I was feeling generous, I also added the romance package. Champagne, strawberries, rose petals, candles. Oh, and a custom cake. The kind with gold lettering. My instructions were simple. Congratulations on your retirement, Serenity. Step 2, optics. I had Brooks ready with a camera and a laptop across the street. He'd set up monitoring software, social media logins, the works. The moment Serenity walked into that hotel, we'd have time-stamped proof. Step 3, make sure both of them walked in thinking they'd won. I texted Evan directly from my own phone. Me, "Hey man, I know about you and Serenity. It's fine. She needs this. I even upgraded your hotel. Make it special." He responded like an idiot who just got handed free beer. Evan, wait, seriously? You're okay with this? Me, totally. Consider it a gift. Take care of her. He thanked me like I'd just given him season tickets. Step 4, timing. Serenity left at 1600 sharp that Saturday, all dolled up, overnight bag in hand, wearing that red dress like she was headed to prom. She kissed me on the cheek before leaving. You're amazing, Reed. So understanding. I watched her drive off in the Jeep I bought, then pulled out my phone. Brooks, I said. Sir? It's game time. By 1815, Serenity strutted into the Marriott like she owned the place. Brooks snapped the photo. By 1830, Evan texted me, "Dude, this suite is insane. Thanks again." I sat back in the cafe across the street, sipped my coffee and smiled. Closure was coming. Just not the kind she expected. I've been in enough field exercises to know the sweetest moment is when the trap finally closes. You've spent days planning, moving units, disguising intent. Then you sit back and watch the enemy walk straight into your kill zone. That Saturday night, Serenity and Evan strutted into theirs. From the cafe across the street, I had a perfect line of sight on the Marriott entrance. At 1815, Serenity walked in, red dress, overnight bag, smile plastered on like she was heading to an awards show. 30 seconds later, my phone buzzed. Brooks, got the shot. Uploading now. He was at the corner table, laptop open, fingers flying. This wasn't hacking, this was precision artillery. Serenity had left her socials logged in on her laptop back at home. Rookie mistake. With Brooks at the keyboard, those accounts were about to become weapons. At 1820, Evan texted me like some grateful idiot. Dude, you're a legend. This suite is insane. Champagne already waiting. Thanks again. I let the message sit unanswered. At 2000, the room service I ordered arrived at the penthouse. Champagne, chocolate strawberries, and that custom cake with "Congratulations on your retirement, Serenity," scrawled in gold across the top. By 2015, Evan was calling me. His voice was half confused, half panicked. Man, what the hell? Retirement cake? What game are you playing? No game, I said calmly. Just celebrating Serenity retiring from being honest. I hung up. At 2020, my phone lit up again. Serenity this time. Her voice sharp, angry. Reed, what does this cake mean? What are you doing? Just a little joke, I told her. You and I talked about you marrying me for security, remember? Thought the retirement theme was fitting. Silence. You could hear her brain scrambling for excuses. That's when Brooks grinned and swiveled his laptop toward me. Ready for launch, sir? On the screen, a collage he'd built. Screenshots of her texts with Evan. The safety net lines, the bank account screenshots, the hotel selfies. Right in the middle, the fresh picture of Serenity walking into the Marriott. And the caption? When your fiancé is so understanding, he pays for your last fling before the wedding. Thanks, Reed, for being such a supportive retirement plan. Ring bottle with popping cork, #closure, #sorry not sorry. Brooks hit post. It went live on every account Serenity had. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all tagged with her family, her bridesmaids, my family, even the Miranda parents who had already sunk thousands into making their daughter's fairy tale wedding a PR stunt. Within 10 minutes, the notifications went nuclear. Serenity's phone in that penthouse suite must have been melting. Her mother, Serenity Marie Miranda, what is this? Her father, call me now. Unbelievable. My sister, Reed, holy crap. You good? Our photographer, do I still show up in 6 weeks or? Her best friend, girl, what were you thinking? You had the jackpot. And the best part? Evan himself jumped into the comments like a rat scurrying off a sinking ship. Wait, she told me they broke up. She never said she was engaged. She's been playing both of us. I'm done. That was phase 1 complete. By 2100, Serenity Miranda's entire social circle knew exactly who she was. A liar, a cheat, and the kind of woman who mistook her fiancé for a bank account with dog tags attached. And I was just getting started. If you've ever heard the phrase, stand back and let artillery work, that's exactly what this felt like. By 2130, Serenity's phone must have looked like a Christmas tree on fire. Notifications lighting up faster than she could swipe them away. And I know because mine was blowing up too. Friends, family, even a couple of my guys from the unit, everyone had seen it. My sister Anna called first. Reed, oh my God. Is this real? Every word, I said. Long pause. Then she laughed. Not the funny kind, but the I told you she was trash kind. You're ice cold for how you did this. Proud of you, little brother. Then came the call I was waiting for. Colonel Mercer, my CO. Harlan. You want to explain why I've got wives on base calling me asking about your fiancé's Instagram? Yes, sir. Long story short, Serenity was conducting her own extracurricular operations. Another long pause. Then a grunt. Well, I can't decide if you're the dumbest officer I've got or the most dangerous. Handle your business, Major. But keep it off my parade ground. Yes, sir. At 2200, headlights swung into my driveway. Serenity's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Miranda, spilled out of their SUV like they were storming Normandy. Her mom in heels too high for gravel, her dad red-faced like a man about to pop a vessel. Reed, her father barked, stomping up to my porch. What the hell is this circus online? What did you do to my daughter? I opened the door, calm as ever. Did? No, sir. This is what your daughter did. I just supplied the receipts. Her mother stepped forward, clutching her pearls, literally. You've humiliated her. Everyone's talking, the wedding vendors are calling, this is malicious. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the screenshots Brooks had compiled and held it out. Bank statements, texts, selfies with Evan. All of it. They went dead quiet. Her father's jaw clenched. Her mother's hand trembled as she lowered the pearls. Serenity wrote these? She whispered. She sure did, I said. Call me a retirement plan. A bank account in uniform. That's your daughter's opinion of me. Right on cue, a car door slammed down the street. Serenity herself, storming up the driveway in that same red dress, mascara streaked, phone buzzing nonstop in her hand. Reed, you have to take it down, she cried, voice cracking. Please, this isn't what it looks like. I cut her off with a hand. Calm. Controlled. Every ounce of fury in me tucked behind that officer's poker face. No, Serenity. For once in your life, it looks exactly like what it is. Her parents stood frozen. Neighbors were peeking through blinds. And for the first time since I'd known her, Serenity Miranda, PR queen, social butterfly, professional manipulator, looked utterly powerless. And we were just getting to the good part. She stood there in the driveway, shaking, mascara streaked down her cheeks, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. Behind her, the Miranda parents hovered, pale and stiff, the perfect picture of social climbers watching their prized ladder snap in half. Reed, please, Serenity's voice cracked. It was a mistake. I was confused. You're the one I want. You're my future. I leaned against the porch railing, arms folded, calm as a man on our. Funny. Because according to these texts, Evan was your fun and I was your retirement plan. Her eyes widened. How did you? You left your laptop open. Pro tip, if you're going to cheat, maybe don't sync your iMessages. Her mother groaned. Her father muttered something that sounded like, unbelievable. Serenity took a shaky step closer, reaching out like she could physically pull the words back into her mouth. I was venting. That's all. I didn't mean it. You know me, Reed. You know my heart. I almost laughed. No, Serenity. I know your greed. Big difference. That's when I pulled the manila folder from under my arm and flipped it open, just for effect. See, you might not remember this, but when we got engaged, I had you sign a stack of papers. Property agreements, insurance beneficiaries, all the boring logistics. Buried in there was a prenup. Her jaw dropped. That's not possible. I never signed. You did. Without reading because you were too busy gushing over the ring. And here's the kicker. Adultery voids everything you thought you'd get out of me. Her face drained of color. She looked at her parents like they might swoop in and fix this. But her father just turned away, muttering curses under his breath. Her mother's lips pressed so tight they looked like a scar. Serenity shook her head. No, that's not fair. I gave you 3 years of my life. You can't just throw me away with nothing. I let the silence hang for a beat. Then, cool as a commander calling fire missions, I said, you already threw yourself away. All I did was let you pull the trigger. Her knees wobbled like she might actually collapse on the gravel. Reed, I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. Please just give me another chance. I met her eyes, steady, unblinking. I don't negotiate with traitors. Behind her, even her father flinched. That was the round out of the barrel. Direct hit. And Serenity knew it. Sunday morning, I executed what I like to call Operation Decontamination. By 0900, every piece of Serenity's designer junk was on my front lawn. Dresses, handbags, jewelry, shoes, all of it stacked neatly like surplus gear waiting for redistribution. I hammered a cardboard sign into the grass that read, "Free, cheaters' belongings. Take what you want." And brother, did they take. By 0930, half the neighborhood had descended like vultures on a carcass. Mrs. Ramirez from 2 houses down strutted off with a Louis Vuitton suitcase worth more than her car. Always knew that girl was bad news, she said, tossing it in her trunk. Mr. Jacobs, retired first sergeant, grabbed a pair of heels for his wife. Hell of a deal, he chuckled, clapping me on the shoulder. By 1100, the lawn was picked clean. Serenity's entire curated lifestyle had been dismantled by my neighbors in under 2 hours. Watching her Chanel bags stuffed with groceries and gym shoes? Chef's kiss. At noon, Serenity finally showed up, crammed into the passenger seat of her sister's minivan. Her mother was driving. They all piled out, mouths open as they saw the empty hangars, the bare shoe racks, the free sign still planted in the yard. "Reed," Serenity screeched, stumbling onto the driveway. "Where are my things?" "Your things?" I tilted my head. "You mean the stuff I bought? The stuff I paid for while you were sneaking around with Evan?" "Gave it away. People seem to appreciate it more than you ever did." Her mom tried stepping in, voice shaking. "Young man, you cannot just discard someone's belongings like trash." I raised an eyebrow. "Correction, I can discard my belongings however I like. And since every item was purchased on my card, that's exactly what I did." Serenity's eyes flooded with tears, but this time it wasn't guilt. It was fury. "You're vindictive. Cruel." I shrugged. "Practical." Right on cue, her phone buzzed in her hand. She glanced at the screen, froze, then shoved it back into her purse. I didn't have to guess. Evan Strickland had finally gone public. Sure enough, 2 minutes later, Brooke sent me a screenshot. Evan had posted on his own feed. For the record, I had no idea she was engaged. She lied to me too. I want nothing to do with this mess. Good luck, Serenity. That was the final nail. The man she risked everything for just nuked her in front of the same audience that had seen her scheme unravel. Serenity's shoulders sagged. Her parents avoided eye contact. Her little sister muttered, "God, Serenity, what were you thinking?" I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to. The battlefield was already scorched. 3 weeks later, my phone lit up with a number I almost didn't recognize. Serenity. For a long moment, I just stared at it. Part of me wanted to let it ring out. But curiosity? That's a stubborn beast. I swiped. Her voice was wrecked. Hoarse, desperate. "Reed, please don't hang up." I leaned back in my chair, boots propped on the table. "You've got 1 minute. Make it good." "I need your help." Of course she did. That was always her playbook. When charm failed, when lies crumbled, when every bridge was on fire, she came crawling back to the one guy who actually built something solid. "What's the crisis this time?" I asked flatly. Her breath hitched. "Evan's threatening to sue me. Says I leaked private messages, violated privacy laws. He wants 50 grand or he's taking me to court. And I don't have it, Reed. I don't have anything. No one will hire me, my reputation is ruined, my parents are ashamed of me. You're the only one I can turn to." I let the silence hang until she cracked. "Please. I know I messed up. I'll do anything." Anything. The word rolled in my head like an echo in a tank hull. "All right," I said slowly. "You want my help? Then you go on the same platforms where you flaunted your perfect life and you post a video. In it, you admit everything. You say I was nothing but a bank account to you. You say you cheated, you lied, you used me. And you apologize to every single person you humiliated in the process. My family, your family, everyone who RSVP'd to that wedding. Make it raw. Make it real." She was quiet for a long time. Then, "Okay. If that's what it takes." 2 days later, the video went live. 12 minutes of Serenity sobbing into a camera, mascara streaking worse than that night on my driveway, confessing every sordid detail. It was pitiful. And perfect. That evening she called back. "I did it. Now will you help me with the settlement?" I smiled, though she couldn't see it. I said I'd consider it. I considered it. The answer's no. Her gasp cracked through the line. "You bastard. You humiliated me for nothing." "No, Serenity. You humiliated yourself when you gambled on 2 men and lost both. I just gave you the courtesy of letting the world see the real you." She cursed me, sobbing again. "I hope you rot in hell." "Maybe," I said calmly. "But if I do, I'll be rotting with my honor intact and every cent of my money. Can't say the same for you." I hung up. Blocked her number. That night, I sat on my porch in the Texas heat, tank crews still rumbling in the distance from the base. And I thought about betrayal. In the army, betrayal is treason. In life, it's the same. And me? I don't negotiate with traitors.